Hey guys, it's Brian with SME, and today I wanted to do a quick video talking about data literacy, and not just all of data literacy, but actually this last part, arguing with your data, because it's such an important part of being in a data literate culture at your company. So let's dive into the data real quick. Okay, I pulled in two different sources of data about movies, something fun. The first one was talking about the lifetime gross, the top grossing movies of all time, and the other one was talking about the IMDb top rated movies of all time. Now, at first glance, this first search, the top 10 movies lifetime gross, doesn't really look that far off. But then you start thinking, well, hold on here. It looks like there's maybe some guy named Disney had some super bias when they were picking this selection bias when they were picking this data set, because everything on here is pretty much owned by Disney at this point. Even Titanic pretty soon will be owned by Disney through the Fox merger. So what's going on here? Well, it turns out we can by arguing and really looking at the data, we can kind of quickly figure out, okay, this had a live action version, so did this one, okay? Well, that would definitely throw off our numbers. Once we go back and clean that data up, we get a accurate version or a representation of our data, which is obviously super important. So now Avengers Endgame is on top, and look at this, Avengers Endgame, Avengers Infinity War, and the original Avengers, 3 of the 4 Avengers movies are all within the top 10. It's pretty amazing. Titanic is up there, as you would expect. So that was one of our first problems. The second problem I had with the data when I first looked at it was looking at the IMDb ratings. Now, again, this doesn't actually look that far off. The Godfather is a very well-respected, highly rated movie with a 9.1. But there's some problems here. When I pulled the original data in, it was the top I used the top 1,000 grossing movies of all time to help me populate this list of top rated movies, thinking to myself, hey, the top rated movies are probably some of the top, grossing. Not so much, right? There was 150 errors where there was movies that did not fall into the top 1,000, meaning they had not made at least $160 million, but were widely, celebrated some of the best movies. So again, we had to go back in and add in those data points, and now we get a completely different picture. The Shawshank Redemption wasn't even on the list. Fight Club wasn't on the list. Fight Club didn't even make like 60 million worldwide, but it's the 10th best rated movie as far as IMDb users go, with an 8.8. So those are just two easy examples of how being able to argue with data is super important and makes a big difference when you are dealing with data at your business. Because let's just say this wasn't movies, this was sales data or logistics or something like that. It could be a huge problem. So arguing with data is a huge part of not only data literacy, but if we expand that and look at a data driven culture, or data literate culture, if you will, it's a huge part of it, having end users who are not only capable of arguing, but are in a culture where that is accepted and allowed and hopefully encouraged. Okay, this has been Brian with SME, and I hope you guys had some fun with that. I'm curious to find out if some of your favorite movies made some of these lists. Let me know in the comments. All right, bye.